Self-Destruct sequence activated.
Hey, what's going on, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Self-Destruct Sequence podcast. I'm Ron Klee.
And I'm Morfied. Thanks for joining us. It's October 23rd, and this is episode 36.
What?
36, episode 36.
You sound lovely.
I am a lovely German has crawled into my nose. And...
Well, crawled into... That's an odd place for a German. Anyway,
I assure you this has nothing to do with Penn State beating Ohio State by some miracle last night. There was no outrageous celebration. I just have a cold.
Yeah. Oh, ouch. Well, we're going to go ahead and get right to it. Of course, Descent Underground this past week released a new production build, and this contains a whole bunch of stuff that we've gone over. I'm just going to briefly touch on the things that are in this new build, including the 3D reticle with the missile hardpoint changes, the new loading screens, the end of match screen update, the survival fix so you can play survival in Charon without it blowing up on you, increased flare intensity and travel speed, the new map BAM, which has been released for Anarchy, Team Anarchy, Conquest, and Verse AI. They now have Conquest mode on all maps except Charon. And with that, they're getting rid of Capture the Core. That is now gone. That is no longer a game mode. King of the Core also gone as well. The frag cannon, the rebalance to that with the more damage up close. The fusion cannon with the new charge time to 3 seconds and overcharge at 4 seconds. The improved VR gaze input. The smart blob adjustment. Authentication on game launch. Minor mayhem notifications. The fixes to Team Anarchy, and of course their Halloween update. All this is in. You can get that if you don't even have to be a backer. All you have to do is get the game on Steam if you don't have it, or elsewhere. And you can find out more information at descendantstudios.com. So, yeah, definitely check that out. Good to see that they're back into doing a regular release cycle again. Up next, they have, we talked about Awesome Games Done Quick last week with Spooty Biscuit. They have the run time now laid down, so the Descent 2 speed run, you can catch that Tuesday, January 10th, 2017, will be at approximately 4:52 p.m. Eastern. But as is always with...
Dreadfully specific.
Yeah, well, as is always with Games Done Quick, it's probably going to be considerably later than that, so I'm kind of amused that they put it down to the minute, even though they never run on time. But that'll be the time. He's estimating to run at 55 minutes, but like I said last week, he just recently got a world record at 36 minutes. And he thinks he can drop it under 35. So, yeah, definitely best of luck to him. So, yeah, we're kind of light on news this week. Just touching very briefly something that we missed last week with Rebirth. Rebirth, of course, is going through their beta testing for their next version, 0.60, and they had released a build 2 Mondays ago. That would be October 10th, and that's the latest beta build. Unfortunately, I do not have any patch notes. I have reached out to Zyko to get those notes. Maybe we can find out exactly what's changing between 58.1 and 60, other than the fact, oh, hey, our code's unified. So we'll check with them, see if we can't get something for the next episode. Which, by the way, unless something blows up here, there's definitely going to be an episode next week, because there's not going to be an episode the following week. I'm going to be out of town in 2 weeks, so I'm not going to be able to host anything. So just something to look forward to next week. And aside from that, of course, Descent Rangers kind of on a minor hiatus in terms of events, but they will have their next one, the Halloween special, the Vampiro, with the speedruns through D2 Vampiro on Insane. That'll be taking place Saturday, the 29th, 3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific. You get a whole bunch of extra participation points for playing, and even more for winning. So you can check that out over at DescentRangers.com. Now, the part you've all been waiting for, which is probably going to be a little subdued this week, but I think we can excuse that.
Okay. Anyhow, we've got 85 matches played here on the DCL in the last week. Most active division has been bronze by far, especially with the bronze versus bronze matchup. That's an angry rivalry between Can I Play and Lee, which is not angry at all, and they just play each other a lot. But yeah, let's take a march down the numbers here. I'm going to be doing something a little bit different. Normally, I compile the report, but as I was starting to read this extract that Ronkly has programmed to spit out all the information, I started to be able to see the redhead wandering in the Matrix. And I'm sorry, what? You remember that line?
Yeah, I do remember that.
Here's a redhead, there's a blonde. It's all just read the code. So yeah, I'm gonna take a crack at trying to do this report from the raw extract. But definitely props to Ronkley for being able to put this together and make my life so much simpler.
And Dracona for the API.
And now I only have to contribute like 10% of the show here, and that's just by reading this stuff. So, yeah, awesome. I love it. I'm just a voice. We're gonna take our march up the ladder from the bottom. Saying hello to Ferno, who's come back and played a few games. He's played 3 games, all against Silver Pilots. Good to have him back. Scion is doing his traditional 1 game per week, making a statement there in UG as always. And then we move to Can I Play Dad, who has played 24 matches. And he is 1-21 against Bronze, and he has only played Lee. He has only played Lee in Bronze 22 times.
That's a rivalry.
His only win was a
20
to... well, we said that about PP Sky and SDF, Jeff.
Mm-hmm.
And look where that went. But that one breakthrough win, 20-18, in Descent 2, Nysa, over the only bronze opponent he's played, Lee. So congratulations, Can I Play Dad, grabbing that win, and hopefully you can use that to build some confidence, gain some traction, because there's a lot of close games in this list. He's also played Hyper a couple times, just getting a couple silver matches underneath his belt. We move on to Lee, who has played an astounding 46 games in the last week. Recall all that we may say that somebody's put up 70-something matches, but in that report, it's often 2 weeks. So 46 matches in 1 week is certainly astounding. And it's outrageous if you compare it to, say, the IDL era. His record's 22-6 against Bronze, and he has played more than Can I Play Dad. I'm looking through here. I see 2015 against Scion and UG. Several matches against Can I Play Dad, including 2016 in Fused X4, 2017 in Crimson, Logic, Mind Tricks, and 2018 with 18 suicides in Descent 2, Shaker, Pillbox,
well,
X4.
Normally when you see a 20-18 with 18 suicides, you're thinking to yourself, oh man, that had to have been quite a comeback or some kind of way to deny the win outright. No, this is Shaker Pillbox. Those 18 suicides were accrued probably very evenly throughout the game.
Descent to Shaker Pillbox X4, and it says it's a trophy match. Which trophy?
Descent 2.
Is it Descent 2?
It would have to be Descent 2.
Is it the X4 trophy?
I don't know. We can click on this handy link and find out. It could be X4.
It's the sub-game Mega Shaker.
It's Descent 2.
It's the Descent 2 trophy.
Yep.
I can't do this. I cannot do this. Oh, and
we should play there sometime.
No. I will play there if you unretire and it's not the only game you play. So on top of all that, we have a string. Lee's picked up a string of dominations against Can I Play, including 20-9 in Flea X4, Ascend X4, Mega Pillbox X4, and in Crimson, 20-10 in Descent 2 Mind Tricks, 20-8 in D2 Fused, and 20-7 in Crimson, and 20-5 in Nice. So plenty of dominations there, but also plenty of close matches, like we mentioned before. So, props to a very active week out of Lee, picking up matches against Firex and Can I Play Dad. Against Silver, he's had some success against B2AF. That's a score of 15-20 for a threatening score against Silver Pilot in the level called Gassed. That's Ghast. Gassed.
I also
Any idea
played
what
a
that one's
D2 Ghast. I've never heard of that one. And
And a D2 Shaker
Gat. What?
I'm
Oh,
wondering
man.
if are these levels real or is he just making it up?
I have a
Uh,
feeling.
and he's also picked up a very respectable score, 17-20 against Hyper in EO. He's played a bunch of matches against Gold and Diamond as well. I will make an honorable mention here of a 12-20 score against Morph in his home level of RIP. So, excellent performance out of Lee this week. Firex has been playing regularly, and we're happy to see it. He's played 9 matches this week, and he continues to be undefeated in bronze, 5-0 with close scores of 2016 in Lee against Lee in Dog Hell and in Ascend, and 20-15 with 4 suicides against Lee in Descent 2 Black Rose. Now, is it Descent 2 Black Rose and then Descent 3 they call it White Rose?
I thought it was White Rose and Descent 2, personally.
Yeah, I could not certain what happened there. Yeah, it'd be worth poking at and investigating just for giggles. It'd be funny if somebody decided to make a Descent 2 Black Rose when White Rose already existed. What's probably going to be different there is maybe a couple graphics and weapons loadout.
Probably, yeah.
But two of those matches there were for trophies. And so I believe Firex is sitting on top of the Dogfight trophy and the Descent 2 trophy at this time.
Mm-hmm.
In addition to his dominating bronze performance, his undefeated bronze performance, excuse me, he's picked up a Dark Horse 20-16 against Hyper in Flea. So, continuing his winning ways, Firex. And if he keeps picking up those dark horses, and also another note here is that he's getting respectable scores against Silver Pilot Melvin. Melvin definitely on the top end of Silver. If I think he's meeting the scores that if Firex were to get a promotion challenge, that he would have to get 9 or 10 on Melvin is what my guess would be. And he's done that with 11-20 and 10-20. So we've seen him in a Silver Promotion Challenge before. Perhaps we shall see him in there again soon. Moving on to Silver, we say hello to Hyper, the artist formerly known as AOD High. He's decided to go with a much more easily pronounceable name, but of course he can always change his name back to whatever he wants. The important thing, though, is to know that his pilot profiles have been merged. Dracona had to do that manually, and definitely a applause to her for getting that sorted out. A very unfortunate circumstance that this all went that way, but now we've got the pilots where they need to be.
It's fixed. That's all that matters.
It's right. Against, let's see here, he's 0-4 against Silver, but he's also only been playing Vaniac, in which case that's a very understandable 0-4. Other than that, he's got a little bit of P-Funk syndrome with bronze pilots harassing him a bit. So we'll see. We'll see if you tread that line. You may get an unpleasant message at the top of your screen. We'll be keeping an eye on that. And we move to Lady Silver, who's put in 6 matches this week. No wins. No wins. A couple close game, but no wins. And so nothing to report, so we move on to B2A, who's put in 9 games. And we will mention a domination, a 20-5 against Furno in, I'm not certain if it's Furno's home level, but it's definitely one he's very fond of, and that's the level Ecstasy. And in Silver, he's 1-2. And his one win coming.
That was a home level for Furno.
And against Silver, B2AF has one solid win, 20-15 over Lady Silver in Flea. I believe that was a random roll, and they got Lady Silver's home level came up, so a solid performance there for 2015. Moving on to Melvin, putting in 11 matches this past week. He's undefeated against Silver, and in astounding fashion, take a look at this. The first match he played against Vaniac is 2018 with 2 suicides in Lurk, which is definitely one of Melvin's stronger levels.
Mm-hmm.
Then he throws Vaniac 20-12 in Logic and 20-11 in Nocturnal.
Nocturnal. Ooh.
I have spoken with Melvin on this matter, and he feels most confident that Vaniac, the only way that Vaniac will return to the previous scores against him is for Vaniac to evolve his game. Melvin has found a wrinkle that works. He has found a wrinkle that works, and he will be abusing it. And I have played Melvin when he finds those wrinkles, and it's nasty. You can go look at my match history against him. When he finds those wrinkles, the tables turn in a big way, 20-12, 20-14.
Would that include the Stark Horse? Would that include the Stark Horse?
No, that's a very close game.
Oh wait, that's take 2. Never mind.
Right? Yeah, that's coin
That's flip a coin.
Yeah. Nonetheless, there's plenty of stories there. Against Bronze Pilots, he's got a domination 20-5 against Lee in take 2, and against Gold, Melvin has had some success. He's picked up a couple threatening scores. But I'll first mention the Dark Horse, 20-18 with 2 suicides in take 2. Melvin's home level, whether he admits it or not.
Kind of like Mark's 39-2's home level of Wyndham.
No, this is Mark's home level is out of respect for the tremendous level quality that Wyndham is. It's about appreciation for how it tests the pilots and just how well-rounded and capable the level is.
You're going to make him unretire. I'm just pointing that out.
I'm arguing here for Melvin that take 2 should be his home level because he does very, very well there, and he plays there so damn much. So, anyhow, none of this Hall's Iconia nonsense or being homeless. But what I really think should be mentioned here is he played Morph in Audacity and lost 7-20 with 7 suicides. Made the match comment of "do it again." And so I fired up Audacity and we played again. Mm-hmm. And it was very much going the same way. I had a good lead. He had a lot of suicides out of frustration. He finished the game 18-20 with 9 suicides. To
bring that back.
Throw down the gauntlet like that and to put up those kinds of numbers, drastic change, more than doubling your score, nearly pulling out a win. I think that deserves a bit of recognition. I would argue that and because I haven't scanned this for matches, I would argue that 18-20 with 9 suicides in Audacity could be match of the week there. Certainly a lot more exciting than that take 2 debacle. And also picked up another threatening score, 17-20 against Morpod in Fused. So, again, excellent play out of Melvin against his typical rivals. But what's really impressive, probably the most impressive thing, you have that turnaround in Audacity against Morph, and you have him figuring out a wrinkle to really mess up Vaniac's day, and it had nothing to do with the level that they played in. He played in Logic, they played in Nocturnal. Vaniac is getting 12. He's got to come up with something new. But with that, we move on to Vaniac. Vaniac's put in 17 games this week. He's 6-3 against Silver. Those 3 losses coming to Melvin. But the way that he's won all of those remaining Silver matches, well, we shall see. Against Bronze, he's picked up a domination 20-4 against Lee in his home level of Skunked. And against Silver, he's picked up 5 dominations. That's 20-7 against B2AF and Salute. And 4 against Hyper. That's 20-10 in Audacity, 20-8 in Viral 3, 20-7 in Savage, and 20-10 in Ascend. On top of that, a solid win, 20-16 over B2AF in Agile. Funny level, with very different weapon load out there. And against Gold Pilots, he's had a very successful campaign against Demos. That's 20-16 with 4 suicides in Lurk for a Dark Horse, and 20-18, 4 suicides in Audacity for another Dark Horse. That leaves Vaniac sitting at number 2. It just seems as though as if every time Morpha beats him and takes his spot to try to keep all of Silver below him, Vaniac finds another way to slip above him.
You're just going to have to get above all the golds. And to be fair, after those 2 games that he played against Demos retired with the message, "Rage quit."
Vaniac has also put up a respectable score against Diamond Pilot Jedi Luke, 15-20 in Audacity. I feel like we told that story last week as well. So, Jedi Luke still determined to crack Vaniac in Audacity. 15-20 is never acceptable for Jedi Luke, with the demands that he places on himself as a pilot, and you can see that he's been trying hard to whittle away at that. Moving on to Gold, say hello to Bahamut. How you doing? 5 matches. He hasn't played any Gold pilots this past week. Gold has been having some getting real sloppy about not playing each other, and I'm guilty of that, but I'm also not running into the right people at the right time. The only thing I have report worthy here is a threatening score against Diamond Pilot Jedi Luke, 16-20 in Killbox X4. So the dogfighting level, very dangerous territory for Jedi Luke. Definitely a place where Bahamut is going to have a strong advantage, but could not pull it off. Nonetheless, puts a bit of pressure there, 16-20. Excellent work. We have Morphod playing 10 matches this week, and again, not playing any gold. Shame on you, Morph.
Damn it, Morph.
The only thing mentioned here, in spite of his name showing up in far too many Dark Horse and threatening scores from those uppity Silver guys, is a pair of dominations, 20-3 against Lady Silver in Logic and in Nysa. We have mentioned here Demos, who's put in 5 matches in the last week, but then, of course, retired. He had been sitting at number 2, had a couple of frustrating games against Maniac, and decides that he's going to rage quit. Sent him a message. He seemed to be pretty jovial about it.
I can't imagine he posted that seriously.
But nonetheless, he may sincerely be believing that, hey, it's time for a break, focus on school, and we'll hit up the game back around holiday time or something. So, always sad to see a skilled pilot retire. And then we move on to Jedi Luke. Jedi Luke has managed to put up 15 games and has been undefeated in the last week across all tiers, and a little bit low on the activity. We usually expect, quite a few dozen matches out of him. He's put in 15, from my understanding. He took a little trip or something, but I wanted to try to pick up a couple matches against him because I was on Fiber this weekend, but I will be on Fiber next weekend as well. So something to look forward to. Against Silver Pilots, he's picked up a pair of dominations. That's 20-4 against Lady Silver in Ascend X4, and 20-2 against Hyper in Logic X2. And against Gold Pilots, he's picked up a pair of dominations as well. 20-2 against Bahamut with 4 suicides in Logic, and 20-6 against Demos with 3 suicides in Ascend X2. So, Jedi Luke continues to reign at number 1. Has put up a couple of excellent revenge matches. Actually, I don't know. I think it's it's a revenge match, but it's not a rematch. So he did well with the rematch cutting back 2015 to 2011 against Vaniac in Audacity, and I would call it a revenge match when you play Bahamut 20-16, and then you turn around and you beat him 20-2 with 4 suicides in Logic. So that's all the DCL news we got this week. And I send it back over to you.
Very nice. Match of the week. I think we have to give it to one of these 20-18 Audacity games, but I'm kind of torn whether we give it to Vaniac or to Melvin. Those are. I'm kind of leaning towards Melvin just simply because of the circumstance, where he had just previously lost by 13 and then brings it around in a 9 suicide game. I mean, it's still a loss, but I mean, what a turnaround.
I would have to insist that the grit that was demonstrated during that game, but knowing nothing of the Vaniac game, yeah, I'm gonna have to say that that 18-20 needs to be celebrated. 9 suicides, very dramatic, come from deep from behind.
Yes.
I'm gonna have to give match of the week to Melvin, celebrating Melvin's performance. Even though he didn't win, he turned a 7-20 game around in a grudge rematch to 18-20. This is the kind of stuff that there's a forum discussion on whether there should be a rematch award.
Mm-hmm.
That's the kind of stuff that would that's the kind of performance that earns that medal.
Definitely earned that kind of medal. Very good performance.
So definitely we'll want to bring that up in that discussion on the forums and say this is an example of what we want to recognize because, as Dracona stated, this is something that's very DCL.
Yes. So that's the match of the week. The Morphod 20, Melvin 18, 9 suicides over in Audacity. I don't think there's a demo on that. Might that change?
I can investigate that. Let's see here.
Maybe we can get a demo for that. Maybe. We'll see. So definitely check that out.
It is here.
Excellent.
I have it.
So we hopefully we'll have a demo for that soon. And
of course, I'm sour enough that I may include the 20-7 game beforehand,
just to temper it.
Just one little one zip file that has both.
Excellent. And I think that's going to wrap it up for this week.
Is it now?
It is.
All right. Well, let me bring up the itinerary because I can never do this without reading it. All right, if that wraps it up for this week, well then, hey, if you got any submissions for us, any questions, concerns, comments, or confessions, feel free to email us at emails@selfdestructsequence.org. Be certain to note whether or not you wish to remain anonymous or whether or not you want us to make fun of you by name. We're going to make fun of you regardless. Other contact information, you can find us on Facebook. You can find us on Twitch at SDS Podcast, on Twitter on SDS_activated, and on selfdestructsequence.org. If your loved one are addicted to micro machines. Sorry.
And when... we're not reading things like we're lawyers. You can check out our schedule over on Facebook. We're tweeting it out on Twitter as well. You can check that out there. We're going to be coming at you every Sunday, 5:30 p.m. Eastern, 2:30 Pacific, with the exception of 2 Sundays from now. I will be in Anaheim, actually, so that'll be fun. Be sure to check us out on iTunes, subscribe to the podcast, and give us a rating and review. Those are the best things you can do to help the podcast. And if you or someone you love is wanting to get back into the game, you can send them over to the page over at Descent Champions. That's descentchampions.org/new_player.php, where you can find out everything that you want to know about getting back into the modern game of Descent. Be sure to watch for our next stream over on Facebook and Twitter. Until next week, I am Ronkley.
And I am... got a head cold.
And we'll see you then.